Ladies and gentlemen, Demi Lovato. Yeah.
Hello.
And Demi, this is my co-host Scott, who you've met numerous times as well.
How you
Hi,
doing?
Scott.
Yeah, good
Good.
to
How are
see you.
you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah. So I just want to start off by saying thank you so much for doing this.
Oh
I
my gosh,
mean,
absolutely.
what a what a huge I just feel like such a I don't know what to even call it, just a vermin asking people to do a podcast. I just like feel like it's the because when people have asked me historically, it's always been like, oh God, like the most annoying question. Will I do your podcast? And I'm thinking, no, I don't want to do your fucking podcast. And I made a rule. If I've never heard of the podcast, the answer is no. But I always break the rule. But in any case, here we are. I've become what I hated, and I couldn't be more grateful to have you.
Oh, thank you. I couldn't be more grateful to do this. You've been supportive to me throughout my career, and you're also just a rad fucking dude. So I'll always support in whatever way I can. And
Man, God,
yeah.
that means the world to me. So check this out with Instagram. Uh, and this drove me nuts for the longest time. That you can click like followers, right? And it'll like it'll show you a list of people who follow you. But that list that Instagram will show you of your followers is not in any particular order. And I always thought, why the fuck doesn't Instagram show me my followers in a list? Like by the order of how many fucking followers they have, so that I could maybe know if like I've got big time people following me, and I just couldn't figure it out. And I was Google searching it. I was asking people, how the fuck do I get a list of my followers in the order of the people who have the most followers themselves? And I dug at it because I thought this would be a good way to get podcast guests. If I could direct message someone who's following me, like, who knows? But in any case, I finally figured it out. I forget the name of the company, but it cost like $350. And it's like a service that isn't even like common practice. But I'll totally tell you, I can, if you're interested, I can tell you how to sort it out. And not surprisingly, when I got this list, number one on the list is Demi Lovato. by by far, like no.
Oh,
And they had there were they it actually generated multiple lists, but there was one that was just by the number of followers, and then there was the second list, which was by how in demand the person is. And the in demand list was very similar to the most followed list. However, it wasn't exactly the same order. There are certain people who have less followers that are just more in demand people, but
wow.
but you're number one on both lists
Cool.
by
Awesome.
far. So
Well,
I
thank you.
yeah, so I can only imagine, and I should also say this wasn't how I learned that you follow me. It's been an honor to be Instagram friends with you for years, and I remember a time when you like didn't follow anybody. Is that right? Like for the first stretch on Instagram, didn't you follow zero people?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess what happened was like my team or somebody created an Instagram for me, and I never used it until I was doing X Factor in like 2013 maybe,
Uh-huh.
and or 2012, I don't know. So I started using it, and but I guess yeah, before that I didn't follow
Right.
anybody. Yeah.
Right, and I'll never forget one time. It would have been 2013. You invited me to your concert because we both happened to be in like I forget this.
Louisville.
Louisville, was it?
Wow, good
Yes.
memory.
Louisville. Okay, yeah. Did you come with me?
2013, I wasn't with you.
Okay, then you weren't with Scott, but yeah, I'll never forget. I came to the concert, and I kind of just thought, man, this would be cool to check it out, and like legitimately, and I'm not even just like saying this, like I found it so inspiring, like I really was
Oh,
like, there was just something about this performance this concert that you had that just felt empowering and just put, like, you walk out of your concert thinking, I'm somebody and I can do anything, you know?
Oh,
Like,
that's awesome.
That's cool.
it was
I
really,
love
really
that. I mean, that's the whole reason why I tour, you know, is to share my music with people in person and hopefully give them a sense of belonging in this world, a sense of community, that you can relate to the people that are in this arena with you, no matter if you know them or not. You know, I just want to, that's the whole purpose of being in this industry.
It was evident. It was evident,
Oh,
and
thank
we
you.
and we
gonna
took
cry.
this picture together. I remember because like I would like always be videoing, and you know, I'd have like a pretty good quality camera in my pocket, and I took this picture of us together.
Yes.
And I remember that you posted that photo of us on your Instagram, and the next day was like the biggest bump in followers that I had ever gotten.
That's crazy.
I think I picked up like 50,000 followers, and that was like way back when I didn't have shit.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me about that. Like you went to the concert and like you did a prayer circle with them before.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I remember I was like, hey guys, like I told a few of my dancers and band members, I was like, yeah, my friend Steve is coming back. And I don't remember, I think I may have said Steve-O, and someone was like, wait, like the Steve-O? And I was like, well, yeah, there's only one Steve-O. And they were like, no fucking way. And I was like, yeah. And so it was awesome. But I thought it was so cool that you came back and prayed with us. And
Oh,
like,
man.
it's always special when you have like a friend come to a show, because, you know, when you're touring, what people don't understand is I've even had some fans that have shown up to meet and greet several shows in a row. And I am so homesick that like seeing their familiar face is like rewarding to me. And so seeing like a friend's face is really special and really rewarding, because, you know, we're touring for 2-3 months at a time, and we're exhausted, you know, we miss our friends, our family. And so even just getting to see you, that's why I remember what city it was in, because like I don't get a lot of visitors on tour, like especially not in Louisville, Kentucky.
So,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I definitely I didn't forget it, and it was
it was
And
really
it was
cool.
packed. It had to have been completely sold out, because I remember looking at I just thought, oh my God, there's like 15,000 people. That's
great.
You know, and for me, like I have such a different take on touring than what you just described, because number one, if I see somebody who's like regularly going to show after show after show, I get super self-conscious about that, because it's no secret that comedians essentially do the same fucking act like over and over and over. Like it's almost like it's supposed to be kind of mysterious, where you create the impression that it's not just repeating the
Yes.
same show. And
Yes.
I feel so exposed when I know somebody is going to show after show after show, because they're seeing the same fucking thing, you know?
Oh, that's so interesting. Because with musicians, you're like, the more
Right.
someone goes to your show, the better, because they'll learn your
Like
song.
singing
But-
along
Right.
and stuff.
You don't want someone to learn your jokes.
Right. That's the difference between, you know, like you go to a comedian's show the second time, and like they get, if the comedian does the same jokes they did the last time you saw the show, you're outraged. Like, what the fuck, man? You can't come back with the same show.
Yeah.
But if you're a musician and you come with new stuff, they're like, play the old stuff. You know, it's the total opposite.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You can't stop looking at them.
Although I do have moments where, like, if I see a comedian show and they repeat the joke, I'm like, oh, wait, listen to this one. This one's good. You know?
Right.
I like
There-
tell my friends.
There is a little bit of the greatest hits factor, and then the other, you know, you had like 15,000 people, like for a really really great week, the best weekend we ever had. And that's when I say weekend, we go to a city, and it's like a comedy club, and we have to do like 2 shows per night, 2 nights in a row, even though we finally graduated to theaters right before this coronavirus bullshit.
Yeah.
I finally
no.
I finally built up the momentum, and I'm selling tickets. I'm sold out way before the shows, and my agent says no more comedy clubs for us, and I'm like, right on. And then now and it's crazy because it's such a grind. I've been on tour for, you say like 2 or 3 months at a time. I've been on tour for fucking 9.5 years. Like without,
Right.
There's no, there's no beginning, no end. It's
How long have you been touring for, like, consistently? Are you in 30, 40 weeks out of the year, or do you have
she
a good...
said 2 or 3 months at a time.
But then do you take a break and then you go out again?
So if it's so the way that my career works is like, if I'm on cycle, if I am doing if I'm in an album cycle, where right now I am finishing up my album, so I'm not touring at the moment, and everything's put on pause due to the pandemic, and so I relate to that. But I don't have anything coming out at this moment other than singles, and then so right now I wouldn't travel as much as I do when I tour. When I tour, I normally put out an album and then I tour, and with that, I tour 2 months at a time, and then I take maybe a couple weeks or a month off, maybe 2 months, and then go back out and do, if it's a world tour, I'll do a different country, a different continent, a month at a time.
It's so funny because that's another thing that's completely the opposite of comedy, because like a musician puts out an album and then goes out on tour in support of the album, whereas the comedian does the tour and then like at the end of the tour for that material, then they record the special and put it out. It's like the flip-flop.
Well, I guess artists do that too. I just haven't done it yet, where they filmed the concert.
Right.
I haven't actually filmed one of my concerts and had it. There was talk to do that with my last tour, but it just fell through, and which was a bummer because I loved that show. But yeah,
right.
I see what you're saying. It is really interesting.
Yeah, it's super interesting, and it's a super pisser that both models are like shut down for now. But it's all good, man.
The first time you and Steve met, was that on the staircase, or was that before that?
No. This is the first time that I met Demi